Warm greetings to everyone. I welcome you all to this MOOC on professional communication. We are starting with module 1, topic 2, and the name of the topic is business writing. I'm Dr. Prerna Vanjani. I'm assistant professor in the Department of Humanities in IIIT Kota, and I'll be taking you through some ideas on business writing today. So as you can all see, the flow of ideas today would be: what is the real meaning of such writing? What is the importance? Some common flaws. Some common flaws means what are the mistakes that usually people make when they are writing business letters. Then what are the standard components? What are the different parts of such writings? Then we'll also talk about some layouts, the different types of letters, and by the end of our session we'll learn some tips for writing effective letters. So let me begin with the first topic, that is what is business writing. So any writing which is done, or any communication that is done talking about any business activity, that is buying or selling, advertising or convincing or presenting, any kind of communication of this kind has to be written in a proper manner, and the written format is basically known as business letters. So a business letter is a letter written for formal or professional purpose. There is a particular systematic arrangement of information that needs to be done when we are talking of business writing. Business letters का एक particular format है, and letters का एक particular defined purpose भी है. Before making any communication, the writer should be clearly aware of what is the purpose, what is the goal of such writing, as the purpose is to excite or to initiate some kind of action from the side of the reader. So इस तरह के letters तभी लिखे जाते हैं जब एक writer चाहता है कि reader या audience जिसके पास ये letter जा रहा है वो कोई action ले. Usually इस तरह के writing objective and factual in nature होती है. Factual, I mean something that is related to data, something that is related to proper calculations. So there has to be a factual, true presentation of ideas. Usually brief, clear, precise, to the point, direct and formal. So this is the way business letters are normally written. Another thing to keep in mind is the tone. The tone has to be professional and polite, and also courteous. So courteous here means that our words or vocabulary should not harm or somehow create some kind of confusion in the minds of the reader, and it should not unnecessarily show that we are rude. So such letters are also written in a neat and legible manner. So these are this is what is the whole idea of business writing. Now let us see what is the importance of writing our ideas or communicating in the business world through the form of business writing. So letters provide an authentic proof of communication. Just because ये letters written form में होते हैं, ये future के लिए एक proof बन जाते हैं. इसीलिए इन letters को बहुत ध्यान से लिखना चाहिए. Moreover, जो लिख रहा है या जिस company की तरफ से letter जा रहा है, company का एक image public के पास जा रही है. So it enhance goodwill of company. अगर letters बहुत ध्यान से and serious note पे लिखे गए हैं, so उससे क्या होगा, कंपनी का एक अलग ही इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट होगा. सपोज कंपनी बहुत अच्छा वर्क कर रही है या कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जिस तरीके से वो अपने आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड के क्लाइंट्स एंड और स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ डील कर रही है, अगर वो जिस तरीके से उनसे लेटर फॉर्म में लिखकर कम्युनिकेट कर रही है, अगर वह कंपनी की इमेज नहीं शो कर रहा, so the purpose of communication just fails, right? So when we talk of importance of business writing, very focused approach should be used while writing such letters. We know that business letters make a lasting impression, and that is why care should be taken to write them more systematically and more authentically. Business letters are showing the real intention of our communication. Are we acknowledging a mail, or are we asking for some kind of quotation, or are we acknowledging a quotation, or are we sending an order, are we complaining? So what is our real objective of communication? That can be very easily understood through the business letters. Last but not the least, business letters strengthen business relations. That is why it is of great importance that business letters should be effectively written with proper structure. Now let me tell you what happens when we are not taking care of the structure or the pattern of business writing. There may be some flaws that can hamper our relation. So looking at some common flaws in business writing, as I've already told you that proper care should be taken. बहुत ध्यान से ये letters लिखे जाने चाहिए. उसके बावजूद कुछ common problems जो business writing में नज़र आती हैं, इनको common flaws के तरह हमने list किया है. So sometimes business writings too long होती है या too short होती है. ना चाहते हुए भी जो टोन उसके अंदर एविडेंट हो रहा है वो ऑफेंसिव हो जाता है. ऑफेंसिव का मतलब है इट मे हर्ट द फीलिंग्स ऑफ समबडी एल्स, और इट मे अटैक द पीपल हु आर सपोज टू रिसीव द लेटर. सो इन दोनों फ्लॉज को बहुत ध्यान से देखना है और कोशिश करनी है कि बिजनेस राइटिंग में ऐसी गलतियां ना हो. कई बार जो राइटर है वह अपनी वोकैबुलरी को इतना टेक्निकल बनाकर लेटर्स लिखता है कि जो रीडर है उसको क्लियर इंटेंशन नहीं समझ में आता, उसका क्लियर मीनिंग नहीं समझ में आता. तो अवॉइडिंग जार्गन इज़ वन ऑफ द ways of making business writing more effective. Sometimes words are inappropriately used, and then there can also be ambiguity. So ambiguity here means meanings and words are not giving the real meaning what the writer wants to present. So after discussing all these flaws that are very common in business writing, we need to actually see how a business letter is to be written. So moving further, standard components of business writing. These elements should always be there when we are writing a business letter, like heading, which can also be in the form of a letterhead. Suppose there is no letterhead of a company, then the sender can directly write his address. इसके बाद next field है date, inside address, subject, attention line. These three, that is inside address, subject and attention line, they together combine to form the opening of a business letter. Then comes the salutation, then the body. So the body is the middle part of the letter. Then comes the complimentary closing, subscription, signature, name and designation. So these three elements combine together to form the closing of a business letter. And in the end we should always give this field which is known as the enclosure. So how all these are written and what are the do's and don'ts when we are writing a business letter and looking at all these elements, let us see how this can be done. So the first part is the heading. So heading will include the vital information about the company, then the sender, reference number and date. So about the company, usually if the company is a registered company, then there is a letterhead, there is a printed form for correspondence which every company has, and on the letter pads they write letters. So the first part, that is the company, and about the company it will have the name of the company, the logo of the company, and it may also have the address, email IDs and phone numbers. So all that information will be included in the heading. So usually heading is at the top of the page here. So at this part of the page, the heading would be there. Then comes the sender. So we can see two examples of how the sender's name is written in the heading part. So we can start with the exact address, then the other details of the address, and then the lane or location, and then the city. So how it is aligned one under the other. This example is of the right margin aligned address. Another example, we can write the name of the person also comes on the top, and after that the address. So all the words of each line are falling one under the other. So this is usually considered as a blocked format, where we are touching all the lines, all the first letters of the line to the left margin. This is the left margin. Then how date is to be written. So here are some examples that date should not be written in this form: 11.11.11.22 or 11/22/22. Okay, so this is not possible. So these dates are to be avoided when the date comes second, and when the day comes second and the month is given in the beginning. These are not the accepted ways of writing the date. We can write date either in this form, when the name of the month is completely spelled along with the numeral, and then the year, or the other way, when the date comes first and then comes the month. Now instead of the whole spelling, even the short form or the abbreviated form NOV is also allowed. Same here also, in this format also we can just write NOV November instead of the whole spelling. Now many people include their full names at the top too. So this is an example where we can see Dr. Shelley Roy, and then the address follows in 2 lines, and then the city. So these are the 2 ways where address of the sender can be written. Many times people avoid the name here because the sender's name will automatically come at the end when we are closing the letter. So we can use both the forms. Whatever appeals to you, you can use. Now there's an element here where you can see the reference number. So reference number is usually used as a reference to the correspondence which has already been done. So it is used to track correspondence. So each company, when they are sending out a letter, they will write a reference number, and they are going to file it in their internal system. So how they are filing that letter, how they are keeping that letter for future reference, that number is to be noted, because the same sender may talk to the receiver many times. So every time the communication will be followed or will be understood by this reference number. So it becomes an important element as a tracker. So many times people use this also. Moving further, the inside address. Now inside address consists of the name, designation and address of the business or organization to which the letter is being sent. So actually inside address क्या है? Receiver's address है. जैसे एक example आप देख सकते हैं, यहाँ पे Mr. Abhinav Mehta is the receiver. After his name, proper, we can see that the initials are capitals, and there is a proper designation. His designation is that he is the chairman, and the name of the company is Premium Engineering Industries. After that, in the next line, the exact location along with the area, and then the city. So the complete detail of this person comes in 3 to 4 lines. So no abbreviation should be used, because the addresses have to be clearly written. It is the same address as written on the envelope when we are sending this letter by post or by courier. So skip one line between your address, the date, and your recipient's information. Okay, so here before writing the inside address, one line space has to be set, and even before that, when we are writing the date, one line space has to be left. Now comes the attention line, which is optional. Attention line, we can see that the letter is directly going to be sent to the HR department. This premium engineering industries may have a lot of departments. So who's going to get the letter and who's supposed to be the reader of the letter? By looking at this attention line, the letter will quickly be sent to that department and action will be taken. The letter will fall in the person who in the right hands when we say this. So as we have seen that attention line is an optional element. So here in the example we can see that it is addressed to the HR department. So premium engineering industries may have a lot of departments, and when the letter reaches, who's the concerned department where this correspondence should go? So looking at this line, the letter will be sent directly to the HR department and then the person concerned whose name is written on top of the letter. So इस तरीके से ये वाला जो element है, इससे क्या होता है, correspondence और ज़्यादा quick हो जाती है. So most of the time it is optional and it reaches who is intended to read this letter. So it reaches directly there. After attention, we can see the next field is sir. Now sir with a comma, this is the salutation, and after salutation there is a line space, and after the line space we are writing the subject of the letter. तो यहाँ पे subject है जैसे training review. So after this we come to the salutation. अब ये salutation क्या है? It is the address the recipient usually uses. So most of the time we see dear along with the title and the last name, such as dear Mr. Sharma or dear Director Kinkade. If you don't know the recipient's gender, so in such a case we can use sir/madam. Suppose you know the name of the person, you know this person, that who's the officer or who's the head there, then you can use their full name, such as dear Tristan Dilberg. Finally, be sure to add a colon to the end of the salutation, dear sir/madam. Okay, so yes, so this is how salutation is to be written. Moving further, coming to the body of the letter. Now we have already discussed in the previous session how the structure of a letter has to be in a proper format. So body में क्या आएगा? Usually organized structure होना चाहिए, logical sequence of thought होना चाहिए, attractive format obviously होना ही चाहिए, and साथ में complete details, जो भी correspondence है उसकी complete detail होनी चाहिए. So introduction में जो first paragraph है उसके अंदर basically हम क्या लिख सकते हैं? Introduce the company and the main objective of writing the letter. Then comes main matter, preferably 2 paragraphs. So the main matter should not be more than 2 paragraphs. Should go into the detail of your main points. Second paragraph should capture the attention of the reader. So जो भी हमारा पर्पस है उस पर्पस को और ज़्यादा रीइंस्टेट करने के लिए सारी एडिशनल डिटेल्स सेकंड पैराग्राफ में आनी चाहिए. थर्ड पैराग्राफ में फर्निश विद डिटेल्स टू सस्टेन इंटरेस्ट. देन कमिंग टू द पोलाइट एंडिंग विच इज़ यूजुअली द फाइनल पैराग्राफ. तो अगर हम देखें फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ, then middle paragraph can be either 1 or 2, and then the final paragraph. So basically 3 different paragraphs तो होने ही चाहिए किसी भी business writing या business letter में. Then coming to the final paragraph, which is also known as the polite ending. What should be done here? The writer should restate the letter's purpose and provide a call to action. Means क्या करना है, reader को इसको पढ़ने के बाद करना क्या है, वो simple and clear terms में यहाँ पे suggest किया जाना चाहिए. Moving to polite closing. Now just cutting the letter and stopping our communication in between will not appear professional. So it is always a good idea that whatever we are saying, it comes to a polite closing and there is a rounding up of all the loose ends. सो क्लोजिंग में हम किस तरीके से लिख सकते हैं, कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स हैं यहाँ पे. recommended formal closings include sincerely और yours truly. अगर सिंगल वर्ड है तो S कैपिटल है, अगर दो वर्ड्स हैं हमारे क्लोजिंग में तो Y कैपिटल रह रहा है और truly में T स्मॉल रह रहा है. some more personal closings are cordially or best regards. Always add a comma to the end of it. Then after we have written sincerely or yours truly, always skip 4 lines after the closing and then type your name. So why are these 4 lines left? So that a person can actually put the signature with the pen even when the letter is typed. So in the empty space you can use a different ink, usually to show that there is a personal connect of the writer and it's not just taken out from the machine and just a printed version. So after the signature, writing the enclosures. So enclosures, as I had already discussed in the previous MOOC, if you are including any documents with this letter, then the number can be enclosed, number can be displayed. So there are two ways of writing. Either we can put the complete spelling or an abbreviation of enclosure can be written like this, and here we can write the number, numeral, like 2 documents or 3 documents. There's another way of adding the documents. Suppose you want to specify 10th class mark sheet, 12th class mark sheet, then in the enclosures here you will have to write number 1 and then you will have to write down 10th class mark sheet, then number 2, after the colon you have to write down in the next line 12th class mark sheet. So in this manner, one complete page will give a lot of information and our writing will become more efficient. So moving further, let us see what is what are the layouts. There may be many layouts. Some layouts have the sender's address on this side of the page. Then sometimes there is at the center, but what I have displayed here is the blocked format of letter, and this is most widely applicable and most widely used. So most popular style in the present time is the block format. It is easy and simple to use, and it is also more systematic and neat. So this is the way it has to be written. You can see some line spaces, so these line spaces have to be left. So after sender's address, date, alert marker, that is also known as the attention marker. Then receiver's address will come. Now receiver's address will have 2 or 3 lines. Okay, name of the person, then designation and company name. So all those details will come under receiver's address. Then the salutation, subject, reference number. You can again see there is a line space. यहाँ पे line space फिर से छोड़नी है. Body जहाँ खत्म हो रही है वहाँ पे भी line space छोड़नी है. इससे क्या होता है, letter systematic नज़र आता है और visually appealing लगता है. Body can be divided, the body of the letter can be divided in 2 to 3 paragraphs, and we can see impressive opening, middle, and again polite closing. Then the ending part of the letter, which is subscription, signature, name, and then the enclosures. Now let us look at an example how all the elements are put together on a page. So here is a specimen. You can see closely. On the top is the name of the company, the outshine company. Then this is the address of the company. If the company does not have a letterhead, then the company details can be kept here. Suppose the company has a letterhead, then this complete space will have a printed header which will have all the details of the company. It may have the logo, then the name of the company, its address, its phone numbers, its sister concerns if there are other registered firms. So all that will come in a block here, and on this top part, which is known as the header of the company. Now you can see how the address is written in 3 lines, then a line space and the date, then again a line space, reference number. Now this reference number is for future correspondence. outshine company may be sending lot of letters on daily basis. So what is this letter for? This is for purchase, and it is letter number 123. So they may have an internal marking system. ये नंबरिंग सिस्टम हर कंपनी अपने हिसाब से बनाती है, किस तरीके से उनको ये सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स फाइलिंग करने होते हैं. सो परचेज लेटर का ये 123rd लेटर है, सो समथिंग लाइक दैट दे मे बी यूजिंग. देन हु इज द रिसीवर ऑफ दिस लेटर? द परचेज ऑफिसर, हाईटेक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सर्विसेज दिल्ली. एंड अटेंशन लाइन है, परचेज डिपार्टमेंट को डायरेक्टली एड्रेस किया गया है. Then you can see how line space is left here before the salutation and even after the salutation, and then comes the subject. So what is the main purpose of this letter is stated in the first line, from where we are starting to communicate our idea. It is known as acknowledgement of the order. So we thank you for placing your first order with us on 23rd December for car accessories. We are glad to know that you're opening a new outlet in Narayan Market next month. We have considered your order at an urgent basis and furnishing all your requirements at the earliest. The relevant documents and bills are enclosed with this letter. We are sending you our latest range. So you can see how this is the beginning, like why they are writing, what is their need, and after acknowledging, the company is sending a reply. So the first paragraph is like an introduction. Then there is a line space. Then further details. If you remember how we have to add more details. जितनी भी details आप भेज सकते हैं, जितनी भी details आप send कर सकते हैं, वो सारा का सारा आप second paragraph में suggest कर रहे हैं. We are sending you our latest range of car accessories which have a wide variety of choices. As a new client, we are happy to offer you an additional 5% discount on total bill. We also hope that you will avail the facility of bulk discounts by expanding the size of your next order in future. So very clearly, a kind of a relationship is being developed from the side of the outshine company, and he's directly, or the person directly is marketing officer, as you can see in the at the bottom of the page. Who's writing this letter? He's Ravi Mehta, marketing officer. So he's trying to convince the purchase officer to buy more products from their company. So the second paragraph includes more details. Then there is a line space, and in the end there is a polite closing, which is like a manner of strengthening the relation. Our motto is to provide best quality products to our clients, and we are sure you will find our latest range fulfilling all your expectations. And then there's again a line space. So if you see, all these line spaces are making the letter more visually appealing. तो एक ये नीट लुक देता है अगर हम लाइन स्पेसेस को प्रॉपर रखें. एंड सारा का सारा आप देखेंगे पूरा लेटर लेफ्ट मार्जिन से अलाइंड है. सो दिस इज द ब्लॉक फॉर्मेट ऑफ अ लेटर विच इज मोस्ट एप्लीकेबल दीज डेज, एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो कंसिडर्ड एज द स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म. Further, you can see how the ending of the letter has been written. Yours sincerely is the subscription, then the name of the person, and then the designation of the person. So usually between these two, subscription and the printed name, there has to be the person's signature. So 1 or 2 line spaces can be left. Just because I didn't have space here on the screen, so I've not left it here. So usually 2 line spaces for the signature should be left, and the person can sign with a different ink. So this is the specimen of a business letter. Now this completes our business writing 1 topic 2 module. And now, just for a quick check, let us see how much progress you have made. So you all can kindly go through the following terms and try and explain them in your own words. So salutation, opening address, what is attention line, then what is reference number when we are talking of business communication, when we are talking of business letters, what do you mean by reference number, what is the purpose of enclosure in a business letter, and how do you understand Yeah, what do you understand by an impressive opening? Then what are alert markers and what is courteous ending? So try and write small paragraphs on these topics just to check your understanding about this topic. So thank you so much. This completes our topic 2, module 1, that is business writing part 1. Thank you all.